when you think of it, what Roy Shaw went through a lot, you know, and he died only 76 years of age, you know. He died of heart failure. What's heart failure? Like a heart attack, I suppose. You know, did he die lifting weights? Was he lifting some weights and his heart just give up? You know what I mean? He was only young, mate. 76 is young for a man like that. You know what I mean? A man, powerful man. That all his life he's trained, yeah. And you know the prisons he's been to, Parkhurst, Durham, you know, Baltimore. I mean, that's the one. That's the one where they muck you up. You know, I mean, Baltimore is not a prison; it's a hospital. So, you know, you can do things in there you could never do in a prison, like you visit some women walking about and all that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And it's a lot more relaxed. But the only thing being relaxed, if you play up, mate, they give you all sorts of injections in your arse, mate, and you don't know where you are, and that's what happened to Roy, yeah. They give him so many injections, he didn't know what day it was. So he come out really as someone that liked medication, taking them meds, you know what I mean? And he couldn't, I suppose, he could never really get off them, because once you get into that, it gets in your system. I don't think you can get out of it. Especially Roy was taking it like heavy, because they kept sedating him all the time, yeah. So whether or not he died of that, whether or not I know he was on the powder. I know he was on the nose. I know that for 100%. You know, but you know, did that add part of it? Did that also give him heart failure? The gear, you know what I mean, and drinking, because you become a drinker, heart attack. You know, I mean, Joe Pole loved Roy Shaw. He used to go and visit him all the time. He liked him, mate. So was Alex Steen, them people, big, powerful, strong people, you know what I mean? You know, and when he fought Donny Adams, Roy Shaw, he was a powerhouse. He was a powerhouse, mate. Short, thick, geezer, strong as they come. He just walked through Donny Adams. Donny Adams was strong, but Roy Shaw, mate, he was different kettle of fish. And I see him down at Beckett. That time I see him down at Beckett, you know, and he got in the ring with Colombo, Steve Richards, and them two were having a war in the ring. You know, Steve Richards, no fault, yeah. They was having a war strong, and he was like having a war with Roy. Even so, Roy was whacking him with some punches. You know, the night I got in the ring, and you know, Roy Shaw was throwing punches on the floor. He was throwing punches on the floor. They got me out there a bit quick because they thought like I was going to get really hurt. I've got to say, he did hurt me. Of course he hurt me, you know what I mean? The guys know he could bang, but not bang enough. He had consistently, yeah, a consistent banger, yeah. Like when he fought Lenny McLean, when he first fought Lenny, I mean he bashed Lenny up, didn't he? But after that, I fancy there was all not right. Them fights were not right, mate. You know, you can't bash a guy up like that, and later on, a guy comes up like that and does the opposite. It don't make no sense to me. Because Lenny was a good fighter, Lenny. He was a good fighter, but he wasn't that good to beat Roy Shaw like that. No way, you know. Roy Shaw was only middleweight. Was a professional fighter, but he was still a good fighter, Roy Shaw. You know what I mean? And he's still powerhouse. I mean, he blew up to about what, 15 stone, 15 and a half stone. But, you know, but you could see that he was what he was. And you know, when he fought Lenny, I think Lenny was about 16 and a half, 17 stone, and he disbattered him, didn't he? And I always still think, as I say, I was still thinking that the fights that he had with Lenny after that were get-ups, yeah. I think that Frankie Warren and Joe Pyle got together, and there's lots of money party hands, yeah. Joe Pyle, I like Joe. I should see Joe down at Twickenham, Wally's wine bar, with Shorey, with Alex Steen. You know what I mean? It's yeah, to see them together was proper, you know what I mean? Yeah, mate. It's just like, when I used to go to Chigwell, I used to go to Chigwell a lot to see my mate, yeah? And I used to go down to Phelan Boys, Epping, to see my other mate down there. And I used to drive down there, it's a straight road, straight through. And I used to see Shorey running with welly boots on sometimes, with his dogs. Yeah, with his dogs. Yeah, he was always fit. You never see him walking really. You know what I mean? Only down the roads, yeah. But as you come, I just come past, and you got Epping Forest on the left hand side or whatever, near where he lives. He'd be running. You see him running. It's like, you know, he was a fit man, mate, fit and strong. And to think he died of heart failure at 76 years of age was, you know, I knew he was on the shovel. He was on the shovel. He was drinking a lot as well. You know, we've got to be very careful. You know what I mean? The old heart, mate, especially 76 is all them sort of ages. You're still on that gear, mate. Yeah, ain't no good. Yeah, ain't no good. Your heart will give up. You know what I mean? That's why I don't drink. That's why I don't take medication no more and those sorts of drugs. I don't take nothing. Yeah, I take meds because of the heart. Yeah, I've got a dodgy heart. I've got 4 stents in my heart. Yeah, but you can see that when I'm walking up the hill to the bag and all that. When I get on the bag, I'm puffing and panting. You know what I mean? Because there's not enough oxygen and not enough blood getting around my heart. Yeah, so it's really dry. That's heart failure. That's a boy. That's what always sure died of heart failure. You know, and I like when I train with the weights and stuff, and I'm pushing big weights or pulling big weights, I feel it. You know, you can feel it. You can feel the heart struggling. You know what I mean? To pump oxygen, but it's what it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? I'm not gonna ever stop training. I love my training. You know what I mean? It keeps me together. Without that, mate, I'll be a zombie. You know what I mean? I've got to train. I must train. Yeah, Roy Shaw, mate. Good man, mate. Good fit man. It was sorry to see him go, yeah. It was sorry to see him go. 76 years of age. He's young. I don't know how old was Lenny McLean. Lenny McLean was young, wasn't he, when he died? Was he 48, 50 when he died? He was young, mate. He was young. You know, I don't know what he died of. Did he die of heart failure, heart attack? But he died of cancer, I'm not quite sure. You know what I mean? But he used to take lots of roids, didn't he? You know, you've got to be very, very careful taking roids. I mean, I was on roids for years. You know what I mean? I was, when you see pictures of me, big, yeah, I was on roids, you know, and I mean, I was taking too much. I was, when you're supposed to have X amount, I was taking double that X amount a day, you know what I mean? And some people say every other day, and I was taking it every day, you know? And, you know, and that's what, at the end of the day, the heart just gives up, doesn't it? And that's what happened to me when I come out of prison. I went down my mate's gym, and my mate gave me these pills, yeah? He went, "Oh, right, it's sweet." And mate, whatever they were he gave me, messed me up. I'd have took them for about 2 months. I was getting powerful again. I was getting big again. And all of a sudden, bosh, the heart just blew up, mate. Couldn't take it, you know what I mean? But I was lucky, really, because, I mean, that night, I couldn't sleep. I kept getting pains in my heart, pains around my chest. And I thought it was a training, yeah? And then from there, I went, you know, I just felt weird, you know what I mean? I went to Acton Town, I went to sort of like a shop and bought a big bottle of water and started drinking it. And got on the train, I didn't feel well at all, mate. I felt a bit dodgy. And when I got at Acton Town Station, trying to walk up the stairs, Acton Town Station was virtually impossible. I got up the stairs, but it was old the rails. And when I walked up the hill, man, I just felt, wow, I'm going to keel over in a minute. And it's when I got to my mum's house, and I told my mum, she said, "You have an heart attack, mate." You know what I mean? Well, you had a heart attack. Yeah, God, fucking hell, mate. It slaughtered me, you know what I mean? I never thought that I would have anything like that, you know, a heart attack, you know. But as I said, when I go down the gym now, yeah, I train really, really hard, and I lift quite big weights for my age and all that, you know. But I just feel better in myself, you know, to do that. I feel good again. I feel, you know, like, you know, Not because I want to get big, you know, but I'm getting a lump again. I'm getting a big lump again, yeah. I've got to be 19 stone now, 18 and a half, 19 stone. You know what I mean? And I haven't got much fat on me. The only fat I've got is a bit around my belly, yeah. But that's going because now I'm walking, doing the treadmill, yeah. I'm doing that treadmill, and I'm doing a treadmill at an angle of 4, you know. And I'm walking up here. I know I'm not running, but I'm walking, yeah. And I can feel it. I can feel it's working. You know what I mean? So I want to get rid of this belly. It's not easy. People say, you know, you've got to do the sit-ups and all that. You know, I don't like. I hate doing sit-ups, mate. God, dear. Especially by yourself. It ain't easy by yourself. You know, you need help. You know what I mean? I mean, I like to be able to get with a medicine ball and throw it, and someone picks it up, throw it back, and come up with it, and they'll do that sort of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, just talking about. I mean, come on, Roy Shaw, man. It was just a shame that he went through so much. You couldn't imagine what they can do to you in prison, yeah, and what they've done to me in prison. It's crazy what they can do to you, mate. And people don't realise, yeah. Once them gates, boom, once them gates are shut, and you're behind them big 4 walls, you ain't got a clue what they do to people in there. You know, the screws the screws walk down the road like normal people, yeah. But as soon as they go for that gate, and them keys are chucked at them for a flap, yeah, and they pick them keys up, they become different people. They become like, you couldn't believe it. Well, they just change. It's like a change. They get the key, put them in there, they become animals because of the power. The power, they've got no power walking down the road. They've got no power as they walk into prison. But as soon as they get them keys, and they put them keys in that hook, power. That there is their power. Because they lock the doors behind, get your cell, lock the cell, and that's the power they got, yeah? Without them keys, they really ain't no one, yeah? You know what I mean? Yeah, and you get in there, and, you know, you can hear them screaming and shouting, whistling, you know, smashing your door when you're young with truncheons and all that, you know, and what they get away with is unbelievable. The things they get away with, mate, in prison is madness. It's mad. It's not so much now, but in my times, they were getting away. All MPs, military police, they were getting away with so much. They was literally nigh on killing people in there, especially kids, bashing them up, smashing them to pieces, going to cell free-handed, and just bashing you up, mate. You know, just bashing you up, really bashing you up, you know. And, you know, you come out in the morning and your face is, you know, and screws are looking at you, laughing at you, you know what I mean? Not a lot you can do about it, you know. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened to Roy Shaw. You can't beat them, mate. You can't beat them. You can't beat it because you're locked away. You're in a system you can't get out of. You can't go nowhere. You know, you can bash a screw up, and then what are you going to do then? You know, you've got to go back to your cell. You can't go nowhere. Even if you take hostage, you ain't going to live. You ain't going to survive. They're going to kill you, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, and I done the same thing. But once I'd done it, and I went, wow, I'm in so much trouble. You know what I mean? Honestly, my arsehole fell out. What have I done? You know what I mean? You go, what have you done? You know, and it's the same with Roy. What have I, you know, he must have thought the same way. What have I done? You know what I mean? And it's too late. Because when they come in your cell, or they come to get you, mate, they're coming in team-handed with mattresses, and they fire at you, bullet you, put a jab in you or whatever, and then they just batter you, and they become no one. That's the power they got. You know, even not so much today, I don't think. I think there's too much human rights today. It's a different prison today, but they still, if they want to, they can kill you easy. Yeah, you know what I mean. If they want to, if you're a pain in the butt, and there's not too many people that visit you or write to you, you're in trouble, mate. You're in trouble. Anyway, bang, 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 good morning, nice one.